So let's see, our featured readers today are Margaret Brye, Donna McNeil, and Jennifer Tucker, who are all members of the Ollie Poetry Group. I will start by saying our first reader, Margaret Brye, I met over a year and a half ago, something around there, at the U of O's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is where people 55 and older can participate in intellectually and creatively stimulating programs and interactive groups. And in particular, Margaret and I have belonged to the Creative Writing Critique Group and our smaller Poetry Critique Group. So, when I started, Margaret was kind of at the head of the table, and she was kind of holding forth because an older long-term facilitator's health had deteriorated, and Margaret was keeping the show going. So when I showed up for the first time, it was very clear that Margaret had rules. And I said, well, this isn't going to work.
Okay, Charles. That might be enough, Charles.
But fortunately, I proved to be trainable, and the group grew and went on through some more changes, and here we are today. There are 5 of us now, and I know that my own writing has gotten better because of the honest and thoughtful feedback from this group. The 5th member of our group is Keith Beyer, and he is here today to lead the poetry group cheerleading halftime commentary. And when Keith gives feedback, it's always worth your time to listen. So, with no further ado, let me please introduce Margaret Brye, whose bio is as succinct as her type of poetry, but it hardly captures the fullness of who she is. She says, lifelong West Coast, have worked with kids, reading, writing, arithmetic, work with myself, poetry, life, walk all over, look around. Margaret Brye.
Yay.
Hi. I'm going to start with a poem about cars and about that thing we could have instead if we wanted it.
Yeah.
Better than a new car. Thank you. We can have peace. No gaping wounds, no howling grief, but we have to really want it. Want it more than a car with paint so shiny you fall into the color, and a GPS voice that gently tells you where to turn, and even when you've arrived. Love it more than the freedom to drive to the market, movie house, grandma's house, Yosemite, Yellowstone, from sea to shining sea, unrestrained. Without cars, we'd need another place to sit in the dark with our boyfriends, kissing and loving till the dashboard clock says our parents want us home. We can find that place. We'd need another joy as good as riding down the coast with the wind in our long hair and no destination. We can find that joy. Peace is better than bumper sticker pride, all that red, white, and blue. Better than a smooth ride and oil wars. We can have peace, stitch closed our wounds, give mercy to our grief, but we have to really want it. So I'm going to read one more poem about how the world isn't the way I wish it was. This one starts in China and comes home. Barriers. Visible from outer space, visited by tourists, the longest graveyard in the world, built stone on back-breaking stone, wall across China. Imagined by the man of anger and insults, wall between us and our neighbors, 1,500 miles, make them pay. My own town in Oregon, trees and rivers beautiful, $67,000 for iron fences. No sleeping under bridges when it rains. My gentle friend with the macho red pickup wants to rev it up, pull the fences down. I'll be there. Buy your gas. Be your lookout. That's Charles. Now I want to share a couple of mountain poems. This first one is from last August. I got up into the French Pete area just before the forest fires closed down the highway. Cool Off Creek. Though this summer the mountains are so crisp they keep bursting into flame all up and down the range, still I've come to find a trail for my feet like the one in my mind, to walk among old trees, to hear all the sounds water makes running over rocks. Forested canyon, tumbling river, beautiful, smoky, hot. Helicopter roars over, heading for a water drop. I'm rising with the trail, working hard, and here, coming down toward me, are two women, smiling. They reach out to me, tell me what I need to know, where to find Cool Off Creek, how to revive myself there. The creek comes down the mountain, musical, mossy rocks, cold, shallow pool. I let the day pack slide off my shoulders. I lower my hot, heavy self onto a flat rock, unwrap the gift I've been given. Strip off sweaty t-shirt, hold it under water, work it with my fingers till it's full wet, wring it out, put it back on, wrap myself in coolness and gratitude. I take the forest home with me to keep it safe from burning. Bears in the back seat, birds up front, trees laid along the top. But then who would the river sing to? This next one is from earlier this fall along the Mackenzie River up past Mackenzie Bridge. One of those days when the world feels good and everything is easy. Easy trail. I climb on the number 91 bus and ride it into the mountains. The trailhead there invites me, the forest gathers me in, and that separate self burden drops off without a sound. This green world is fresh and endless today. It opens for me. It goes on and on under my feet, fills my ears with river rush, and spreads before my eyes the yellow leaves of October vine maple. Time is walking with me here, patting the old logs with moss and strewing little hemlock trees along their lengths. I can see for years in either direction. I'm saving this day for midwinter. I'll come back here in my mind to sit easy, feeling welcome in the world, to watch the alder leaves drop into clear mountain water, one by one. I'm good at drinking coffee because I practice so much. When I was 16, I sat with my best friend in Denny's, land of bland food and endless coffee refills. Together we explored the meaning of a Stanley Kubrick movie, the meaning of the Watts riots, and the meaning of the space waiting inside us. Coffee still invites me. The white, heavy mug pressed between my hands, the dark color and fragrant steam, the heat flowing through me. Coffee is bitter but rich, like life. The price of 1 cup is rent on the table where we can sit for hours exploring where we want. I want your stories of playing hooky from your Louisiana high school. I want your stories of sailboarding on the San Francisco Bay. I want the meaning of the looks that pass across your face. I'm good at drinking coffee because I practice so much. I like that deep breath, eyes closed, hot first sip. I like the space on the table that takes everything we put there. What we've seen, what we hope for, all our best secrets. Sometimes I like to get a big piece of butcher paper, something as big as I am. Tack it up on the wall, get out my kindergarten type paints, and go at it. Paint myself upward. Tree on the wall, paint it. Blowing in the high air, branching my arms, roots tonight in the dark. Without plan, paint it. Lay it on sinuous, run it red up the wall as long as it takes. Light face laughing green in the bright leaves. In the earth, feet dark, heavy, knowing how. Birds tonight roosting, calling high within me. I, steady in the ground, paint myself upward. Growing, tree of life. This last one is about moving from one inner place to another better place. It's written as though I do this all by myself, but of course it's my friends who get me by. The dark light of don't know. Bicycle riding through the rain this morning. Wet face, wet hands, crows in the willow trees. All the time listening to the voice inside asking, what you gonna do now? Do, now. I'm giving bad answers, afraid of don't know. Sitting in the coffee house reading today, warm bagel, hot coffee, wind in the puddles outside the window, and still I'm listening to the same old question, and I keep giving answers. The only ones I know, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, till I'm in tears and ride the bike home. The asker is exhausted. The one who tries to answer is exhausted. I turn off the lights and tuck them both in bed. I open the windows and let the dark light of don't know come in shining. The night in its silence is huge with possibility. I stand in it, breathe it in deeply, till all the stars come out and I start to smile. Thanks for listening.
Margaret Brye.